Hello everyone. Today, we'll be learning about user interface design in software engineering. The user interface is basically the screen you see and interact with when using a software. A good user interface is like a good friend. It's attractive, easy to use, quick to respond, clear to understand, and behaves the same way everywhere. This makes the software more popular. Now, there are two main types of user interfaces. The first one is the command line interface, or CLI. You have to type commands like a secret code to tell the computer what to do. The second one is the graphical user interface, or GUI. This is what we see on our computers and phones, with pictures and buttons that are easy to understand. The process of designing a user interface is like building a house. It involves several steps. We can think of it as a spiral, where we go through each step and then come back to refine it. These steps are analyzing the user, designing the interface, building it, and testing it. The first stage is all about understanding the user. We need to know who will be using the software, what are their skills, and what kind of environment they'll be using it in. We also need to figure out what tasks they'll be doing with the software. In the second stage, we start designing the actual interface. We decide what buttons, menus, and icons we'll use, and how they'll work together. We also think about things like how fast the software should respond, what happens if the user makes a mistake, and how to provide help. The third stage is about building the interface. We create a prototype, which is like a rough draft, to see how it looks and works. Then we use special tools to build the final interface. The last stage is about testing the interface. We make sure it works properly, that it's easy to use, and that it does what the users need it to do. Now, there are some golden rules that we should always follow when designing a user interface. The most important one is to put the user in control. This means giving them the freedom to do what they want, without forcing them to do things they don't want to do. Another important rule is to reduce the user's memory load. We don't want to make them remember too many things. So we should design the interface to be easy to understand and use, with clear labels, shortcuts, and familiar concepts. Finally, we need to make the interface consistent. This means using the same design elements and principles throughout the software and across different applications. We should also avoid changing things that users are already familiar with, unless there's a really good reason to do so. To sum it up, here are some key principles to keep in mind when designing user interfaces. User-centered design, consistency, simplicity, feedback, accessibility, and flexibility. By following these principles, we can create user interfaces that are enjoyable, effective, and accessible to everyone.